So this week's Torah portion is Behar, right? Behar means on the mountain. And the portion starts that Hashem spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. That's what it says, right? Hashem Behar Sinai Lemor. God spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. The obvious question is, God spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai with all the Torah commandments. Why does it say it specifically here? Every Torah portion should start with God spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. All of our Torah comes from Mount Sinai. Why does it say it here? And so this bothers all the commentary, and it's a famous Rashi. It's like maybe the most famous Rashi, where he says, Ma inyan Shemitah etzel Har Sinai, because this portion begins with the mitzvah of Shemitah, and I'll talk about that in a second. But Rashi says, why does it specifically say when it comes to Shemitah that it was given on Mount Sinai? Why not all the other mitzvahs, right? So he has his answer, and many of the commentary talk about it, and I'm still kind of articulating my answer to this question. I'm trying to write it down and whatever, put it into words. But if you look at the commandments in this Torah portion, they're basically all commandments that have to do with economics and finances, right? Shemitah is the commandment that on the seventh year, farmers stop working the land, and basically all ownership comes to an end, and everything's open to everyone, and we're all equal, and nobody's richer than anyone else. And then the portion continues with, if someone's poor and how to make loans and not to take interest, and it's all about finances. And then it ends with faith and talking about, worshiping God and not worshiping idols. And it's like, what does all of this have to do with anything? And so again, I'm still articulating this, but I think that the reason it says Bahar Sinai specifically about this is because this Torah portion might be the most fundamental when it comes to faith. Why? Because believing in God, when he says, thou shalt not murder, not too difficult. Thou shalt not covet, okay, not so difficult. Thou shalt whatever. Most of the Torah commandments, obviously there are ones that don't necessarily make sense to the human brain, but most of the Torah commandments is like, okay, yeah, God told me to do this. God told me to keep Shabbos, I'm going to keep Shabbos. But when it comes to money, your faith is really put to the test. Because you might say to yourself, God, thank you for all your whatever, but I made this money. I worked hard for this money. This money's mine, right? Faith is one thing. My livelihood and my money that I worked so hard for, God has nothing to do with this. And that's human nature, I think, when you invest in something. And so this portion says, don't forget that even your money and everything you have in this world can go gone in a second because God gave you that money. And if you don't know that, the end of the portion says, don't forget. Believe in God. Don't believe in idols. Don't believe in God. God gave you that money. Even when it comes to money, let's not forget faith. Let's not forget God. And it is so fundamental that's why this portion, out of all portions, had to say it happened at Mount Sinai. Because even your money, even finances, is intertwined with your faith in God.